What's going on, y'all? It's the kid J Nolan here, and I'm sure anybody seeing this video, a lot of y'all are probably looking at the title like, who the fuck is RNB Tomi? I'm gonna break this thing down for y'all because the independent scene, independent publications, covering hip hop and R&B artists, like these things are becoming way more popular now. Like these content pages, they post artists, they post their opinions about what artists have going on, similar to my channel, but these people are creating organizations and actual platforms, media outlets that are giving artists the opportunity to showcase their work, creating playlists, curating playlists and stuff like that, and utilizing social media platforms like Instagram, namely Twitter for a lot of these people. They're becoming miniature celebrities. They're becoming very important. They're becoming voices of reason within the culture in their own right. R&B Tomi's platform, R&B Radar, has over 60,000 followers on Twitter. As these people gain more influence within the culture and people are starting to, go to them for their opinion, go to them to break their songs and stuff like that, they also have to be held to a certain standard when it comes to dealing with people, when it comes to dealing with women, when it comes to exercising power over people or authority. All of these things have to be maintained in good standing in order to maintain good standing with the people. Unfortunately, it seems that R&B Tomi from this platform has violated many infractions, has violated many people, has violated many women, namely within the space, and they're coming out and outing their experiences with him. This video will be making reference to some disturbing situations, so if you've ever experienced any type of abuse, assault, or any of the like, I want to go ahead and give you a trigger warning beforehand. These are some very heavy allegations that are being placed on this guy, R&B Tomi. I personally don't know him. I used to follow him on Twitter because he did have some takes that I may have agreed with as far as music. And of course, when you don't know these people, you can easily find yourself aligning with them. I've never actually engaged or said anything to him, but there's a lot of people out there that are extremely disappointed. They've built friendships with him, built text relationships, email correspondence and stuff like that, trying to get on his platform. So those people are even more affected because now you have to cut this guy off. For these artist managers, you now have to kind of take him out of your rollout, which for independent artists, there's not so many platforms and opportunities available to you. So yeah, it is going to become an inconvenience, but you definitely want to be on the right side of history when this thing all boils down. There's a gentleman on Twitter by the name of J Alexander who used to work with R&B Tomi. At one point, he was R&B Tomi, spelled Tommy. After some really heinous allegations came out back in 2021, he rebranded his page to R&B Tomi, spelled RNB Tomi. I guess this is how people were not able to really put the correlation between the two, and those that knew, they just kind of sat back in the wings and watched it happen. So Jay Alexander says, I'm gonna make a thread because I keep getting questioned by an annoying amount of individuals. Radar and I had business relationship during pandemic. Multiple shows and content was discussed and agreed upon. A few months in, I received news of his dealing with underage women and SA. All right, so this is where things start getting a little bit heavy. He says, I first confronted him. Then after it was true, I publicly distanced myself in every forum possible. During this time, most messages were done in voice chat to avoid him being caught in lies. 80% of his following and audience saw or knew about all of this prior in depth. Okay, so Jay Alexander is making it known that people knew what was going on. They understood the weight of the situation. However, they just sat back and watched. He picks new artists with no leverage to get upper hand on his situation. In our dealings, I had all the connects. So in order to maintain face, he discredited and lied his way to where he is now. I had 5 podcast dates planned with Grammy winners and label execs, all of which canceled on him after finding out why I wouldn't be a part. My reasons for rehashing this is due to the cyclical nature of his actions. If you are an up-and-coming creative and most importantly a woman, you should be aware of what you're stepping into. Besides Discord, I'll do my best to keep everyone's anonymity, but at this point you know what you were doing, enabling him and the situations. A lot of the loudest people today are the same ones enabling said actions. Traveling at the moment, so forgive me if anything is out of order. So basically he's saying there's a lot of outrage going on Twitter specifically. People are calling him out. People are disassociating themselves from him. People are denouncing his platform. People are out here hoisting up other platforms while turning his down. And he's saying a lot of you guys are loud but y'all been knew what was going on. Y'all just didn't want to speak on it because you were receiving whatever benefits you were from proximity. This is something that happens a lot, man. People are predators in the music industry. People that didn't really have a lot of popularity, or people that didn't really have any type of position of power, you know, they find themselves becoming local celebrities. They find themselves becoming voices on Twitter. They start getting this really inflated arrogance, this ego about themselves, and they start acting like the oppressors that normally would be imposing themselves on them. At times, it really feels like the entertainment industry and just anything pertaining to money and status, it becomes like a rat race to become the next in line to take charge. Jay Alexander exposed some screenshots of somebody that was reaching out to RNB Tomi, and they said, "I pray for your wife and child because they never knew this part of you, and I hope they never experience either. I hope your child never learns their father takes advantage and abuses women, because you remember when you sent nudes to a 13, 14-year-old girl. I do. I have the screenshots." He also shared these same screenshots in a Discord group where people actually went up to bat for RNB Tomi and took his side, although the information was being put right in their face. Back when he was RNB Tomi, spelled Tommy, he put a tweet out saying, "I'm happy I've grown and become a better man." Somebody said, "LMAO, spare us. This didn't make up for what you've done. Own up to it. Apologize and take accountability. You abused women. They deserve an apology, not a 'I've grown, only God can judge me' tweet." He said, "You are right. I have cheated on women, gaslight them." I don't see the rest of that tweet, unfortunately. That would have been a great piece to include. But here is where Jay Alexander posted this in the Discord group, right? You see there, boom, in the Discord, February 20th, 2021. From there, you start to see people coming out and supporting him. They say, "Don't let the devil waver you from what God has planned for you and your family. He will get you through this and will come out a stronger person." He says, "I appreciate everyone who allowed me to speak. Thank you guys so much. This means more to me than you'll ever know." Somebody else says, "R&B radar for life. You're good, bro. No one is perfect." So they just continue to support him, kiss his ass, smell the shit that was coming out, and mistook it for potpourri. And this is 2 years ahead of time. This is before his platform even ascended to the place where it is now. Here we have Twitter user Curly Goddess, who had a direct encounter with this man. Olua Thomason Sani, which I guess is his real name, is an abuser in all senses. "I was with him for a little over 2 years, and in that time, he mentally abused me, emotionally abused me, and physically. While I have remained loyal to him for our whole relationship, he was a serial cheater. He did not have a loyal bone in his body. It's almost like he could not help himself when he got caught. It was never his fault. It was always my fault. I always felt like there was something I was not doing, or that something was wrong with me. The worst part is, because of his internet fame, he would publicly broadcast these women professing his love for them and how lucky he was to be with them. This guy was literally posting new girls weekly at one point, where him posting you on Instagram meant nothing because he could write whatever on there. But it was all just an act. He didn't love anyone but himself. When I look back, I am thankful to even be alive. I wish cheating was the most of my worries. He put his hands on me more times than I can even count, and I don't mean the little baby slaps." What is a baby slap? I was punched, kicked, choked. Anything you can think of was done to me. I went to the hospital many times because of him. One of the times that I will never forget is when I was late to go pick him up for a day at the water park, and he went crazy in the car. He started punching and beating me so much to the point that I thought I was blind in one eye. I bled so much from the top of my eye, and I couldn't see anything. I got blood all over my clothes and all over my shoes. A trail of my blood led you to the back of his house because he wanted to hide me and to make sure that no one saw what he had done. He brought me into the kitchen, and his mother was there. They helped me clean up the wound that so obviously needed stitches, and that was that. Both him and his mother carried on like it was normal. Nothing about that was normal. To this day, I have that scar on the top of my eye to remind me about that time in my life. As much as I wanted to leave, I just couldn't. The manipulation that I dealt with was unreal. If I said I was leaving, he would cry, tell me he was sorry, that he would change. He would even go as far as to threaten to harm himself. As in, he walked to a bridge one time with me on the phone. I'm gonna be honest, I've been in this situation. I've dealt with somebody who used to make these same types of threats. Hate to see it. Bright notes blaming it on me. This wasn't even all of it. When I finally realized this is not what I want for myself and this is not love, he publicly exposed me on Twitter, and he did this multiple times, to which the police would not help me. I trusted him with many parts of me, and each time he just showed me why I shouldn't have. It does not matter how mentally strong I thought I was, this guy really made me feel like I was nothing. Even after I left him, he was somehow still trying to manipulate me by telling me about the girls he found that were so much better than me, or finding a way to say I was cheating on him our whole relationship. Because I had found someone new, it just never stopped. Most of my time with him is very triggering for me because I've worked so hard to leave that portion of my life behind. Just know he is not a good guy. Never has been, never will be. He puts on a facade that everyone falls for, and it has got to stop. People need to see who he really is. I would never wish this on anyone, and I am so sorry I was not able to speak up sooner. So based on this series of screenshots that she put in her phone and released on Twitter, she is actually an ex-girlfriend of RNB Tomi. He actually came on Twitter today and made a statement. People have been waiting for days to see if he was going to speak on it. He had continued to post things, continued to retweet content. He was still in content mode the last couple of days while these allegations were being brought to the front. He now says, I want to address the serious allegations of SAR and pedophilia that have been made against me. It is important for me to clarify that these accusations are entirely false. However, I want to take responsibility for the harm I have caused to individuals within this community and acknowledge the need for accountability for my actions. I have cheated on my past partners, both physically and through social media text, by sending explicit images. Instead of handling these situations maturely and ending the relationships, I resorted to gaslighting and verbally attacking the women involved. I now realize that I had a problem with infidelity, failed to take responsibility for my actions, blaming others instead. I sincerely apologize to the women I have hurt due to my unfaithfulness, dishonesty, and gaslighting. I deeply regret taking out my issues on you instead of focusing on self-improvement. He goes forward to say, I apologize to all my past employees for creating a hostile work environment through my verbal interactions and for abruptly letting you go without adequate explanation. I cannot proudly call myself a CEO when this is how I've treated my team and those who have supported me the most. After reading all your opinions and stories about your experiences with me online, I've been awakened to the reality of my actions and how I have treated fellow curators, tastemakers, and others in the music industry. Effective immediately, I will step down as CEO of RNB Radar. I'm taking the necessary time to reflect on everything and make the appropriate steps towards personal growth, aiming to become a better representative for my family, friends, and community. Once again, I sincerely apologize to everyone who has been directly or indirectly affected by my actions and these allegations. He only took accountability for cheating on his partners and any harm or pain that he has caused, which basically means that you're overlooking the real stories that people are putting out about you. Not only that, there's people out here that are claiming that you've taken ownership of their music in some form or fashion because they wanted to do exclusive releases or they wanted to do premieres with your platform. And now they're having trouble trying to figure out what they can and can't do with their music moving forward because y'all have it in your catalog. So not only are you being accused of pedophilia, dealing with minors, sending inappropriate photos to minors, actual domestic abuse, you're overlooking all of these things and you're taking partial credit or partial accountability, not even stating specifics. Or not only that, I think it would probably be in the best interest of RNB Radar if you just discontinued it. Don't step down as the CEO, right? Discontinue the platform, because you stepping down as the CEO, that's only going to put your girlfriend or your fiance or whatever she is to you, she's going to step in and take over your position, meaning that you're just going to continue to give her guidance on what you want to see on the platform and what needs to happen. You've used the RNB Radar platform to take advantage of people. You've used the platform as a direct way of imposing power and will over people. Do I think that they should have allowed you to? Absolutely not. All the people that overlooked it, all the employees that just left without actually saying what they experienced. It's one thing to see somebody take money and you overlook it and you say, man, that nigga be stealing over there. But when you see people doing inappropriate things, especially when it comes to sexual acts, when it comes to imposing sexual acts on people, groping people, those types of things need to be spoken about. They can't be held on to for 2, 3, 5, 10 years. And then all of a sudden it comes out later and everybody's in an uproar. You already done gave this motherfucker too much power. Some people may have 20,000 followers one day, have 60 the next. A year from now, they're at 150. And now they have way more power, way more relationships in the industry, way more people that are willing to brush it under the rug, way more people that feel like, hey, I'm not going to ruin my relationship with this platform because they could get me in front of 500,000 people at the snap of a tweet. Now they have way more power than had you just nipped it in the bud when they were a smaller curator, when they were a smaller platform. So yes, I'm sure a lot of y'all don't know who the fuck RNB Tomi is, and hopefully moving forward, you won't have to deal with him in the future. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the post notification bell for all updates. I will see you guys on the next one. Much love and respect. Stay safe out there, man. Peace.